Hi everybody, Tex-Mex here. Thanks for joining me for another video. Today we're going to take a look at the Henry Long Ranger. As a kid, I had a friend whose father had a Browning lever action center fire. I think it was a 243 if I remember correctly. I always thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and I considered buying one of those Brownings at one point, but when Henry came out with their Long Ranger, which wasn't long ago, I mean it was a few years ago now, but not terribly long ago, I decided I would give it a go. And when they first came out, I think they only made it in a few calibers. I think they made it in 223, 243, 308, and maybe 6.5 Creedmoor, or that may have been a later edition. They didn't come with any sights. They're a flat top. They're meant to mount a scope onto it. I want to say that the hammer spur came with the package, but that I don't remember. I may have bought that separately. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put on the screen the specifications for this rifle. So like I said, when they first came out, I really wanted to get one, and I went ahead and, here, let me drop the hammer, and got one myself. This one actually is 3 digits. So the serial number is LR, which I assume is for Long Ranger, 008, and then 2 more digits. So it was under the first 1,000 produced. It's worked very well. It's unloaded right now, although there is some ammunition in the magazine. I just put this in because I wanted to remember how many rounds I could fit in the magazine. I think it depends on the caliber, but for 308, which is this caliber for this rifle, it only fits 4 rounds in the magazine. So it does have a detachable magazine. It is hammered fired. It does have a lever, obviously worked, and the bolt is a locking bolt, sort of like an AR-15 style. It looks like it's a rotating bolt that has different bolt heads there to lock into the chamber. And then you have a hammer and a trigger. So good old-fashioned lever action, just in center fire rifle caliber. It's a lot of fun. What I decided to do is see how well it shoots. I've come out here with a couple of loadings. I brought some Federal 308 180 grain soft points, so that'll be a nice shoulder bruiser there. And then Winchester Extreme Point 150 grain bullets. So we'll see how well they do. I just wanted to see if it prefers one of those 2 loadings and groups them a little bit better. We're here at 100 yards. I've got my target set down there. If you can see it way down there. And I need to put up a new target, get the camera down there going. We'll go ahead and load it up. But you know, before I do that, let's go ahead. I think I did bring my trigger gauge. Just curious to see what the trigger on this guy is like. So let me get the trigger gauge ready and we'll measure it up. Okay, so I have my Wheeler trigger gauge here. And these aren't the first rounds this rifle has seen. I sighted this rifle in a few years ago. I haven't hunted with it much, but I do have a buddy of mine that when he travels into town to see me and we drive out here during hunting season, he likes to borrow this rifle to hunt with. So he's fired a few rounds through it. I fired a few just sighting it in. So let's check there. It is empty. Let's turn this on and see what the trigger weighs. Whoa, I must have had it on live reading. Yes, I didn't want that. Let me switch the mode. Peak. There we go. Let's try that again. £4, 1.7 ounces. Not bad. 5 pounds, 1.7 ounces. Okay, that's interesting. A whole pound difference there. Let's try that again. Trying to be consistent in how I do this. 5 pounds, 0.07 ounces. So it seems like maybe that's the closer to the correct weight on the trigger pull here. We'll do one more just to make sure. 4 pounds, 9.1 ounces. So yeah, it seems like it's somewhere on just the bottom of 5 pounds and closer to, well, somewhere between upper 4 pounds, lower 5 pounds as far as this trigger pull, which, I mean, it's not great. It's not a target rifle, but at the same time, it's a great trigger if you're out hunting. So this is definitely a decent trigger for a hunting rifle. Now the scope I have on here is probably a little more than it needs. I put it on mainly because I wanted to see how well I can hit with it. It is a loopholed, let's see here, what is it? It's a VX2. It goes up to 12 power. It's a variable 4 to 12. So on a rifle like this, really, I'd probably be more comfortable with anywhere between 6 and 9 power. I think this may be a little overkill, but for our purposes today, trying to see how well we're hitting at 100 yards, having the extra magnification will actually help quite a bit. So let me go ahead and set up our target and we'll get shooting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with the 308. This is it's the 308, of course. It's all 308. The Federal 180 grain soft point. So we'll start with the shoulder bruiser first. See how it does. If you hear a little thunder in the distance, I apologize. Looks like it might rain. Very happy about that. Central Texas is usually a very dry place, so any rain we get, we are always extremely grateful for. So I'm gonna take my hat off, put my ears on. And let me go ahead and put the magazine in. I'll load the first round on camera so you can see how it works. So that's it locking in. Let me get set up here. Try to take a nice steady shot. I'm going to shoot at the target on the top, middle. Woo! Caught me by surprise. That's not a bad thing. Okay, a little high and to the right. Okay. I'll eject one on camera. There we go. A lighter trigger would definitely help the accuracy on this thing. I mean, it's not bad. Like I said, this scope is probably more magnification than necessary. But it would be nice to have a slightly lighter trigger. I could probably tighten those groups up. Ooh, I didn't like that. That went high. Okay, and one more. What I'm going to try here is, I'm not sure I can do this or not, so let's see. I don't want to pull the magazine out. Let's see if we can just drop one in. Assuming you were in the field, could you just drop one in and close it? Yep, seems like that worked okay. And 5. Okay, not bad. Let's see here. Yeah, it warmed the barrel up a little bit. So let me open this up, eject the last round, take out the magazine. We're gonna leave this up here, let it cool off for a few minutes before we try the Winchester 150 grain. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so now I've got the 150 grain Winchester. Extreme point. That's what it looks like. I don't know what makes it extreme, but that's an extreme point. And let's go ahead. I'm gonna put my ears on. We'll get the magazine in the rifle. There we go. I'll put that last round to the side because once again I checked that it does only fit 4. First round's in. Shooting at the bottom center target. A little high and to the right. Interesting. Okay, now that one hit the bullseye. Maybe it likes the heavier ammunition. Although I did get one kind of high and to the right with the 180. Yeah, it's grouping closer there. It is a 5-pound trigger. It's hard to make very, very precise shots with a 5-pound trigger. But for hunting applications, it's fine. But if you're really trying to punch holes in paper, touching each other, makes it a little more difficult. Couldn't really see where that one is, so it must have clover leafed one of the other ones. And let me go ahead. We're gonna put the last round in. Okay, 5 rounds. Let's go get our targets. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot of fun. I'm actually feeling rain starting to fall, so I may have to speed this up a little bit. But a real fun rifle to shoot. Not the best trigger in the world. I'm sure there's probably a way to polish the sear and maybe make it a little nicer. But as stock, you know, 5 pounds, give or take. So the 150 grain, not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at 100 yards, once again, I mean, it's not a target rifle, but for hunting, certainly more than enough. It's hard to tell which one did better, that one or the 180 grain. The 180 grain did have one that went much higher up, so definitely that increases the spread by probably another ½ inch compared to the 150 grain. But at the same time, I didn't feel myself pull that shot. So was it a flyer? Was it me? Was that the first shot? Was that the cold barrel? I don't remember. I'll have to go back and check. Note to myself, was that the cold barrel shot? Yes or no? Put it right here. But the other rounds, 2 touching here and 2 touching here, so that's great. And when the 50 grain, 150 grain, I mean, 2 touching here, 3, 4, 5. So both did relatively well. Not sure if I would say this rifle necessarily prefers one over the other. I'd have to shoot a lot more to figure that out. But either way, a lot of fun. If you're looking for a lever action in a rifle caliber, these are definitely a good option for you out there. I wouldn't put as much scope on it as I did. I don't think it's really necessary unless you're trying to get really far shots with it. But if you're hunting anywhere between 50 and 150 yards and just want a lever action so you can have quick follow-up shots, maybe at a running animal, these Henry Long Rangers are quite a lot of fun, and you should certainly take a look at them. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me. Bless the good Lord for the rain that we are starting to get here. You can see over there, oh, look at that. Look at that. That's gorgeous. I can't wait for that to start pouring on us. You can see here it's green, which out here is unheard of. Usually by this time of year it's brown, and even goes beyond brown. At one point starts turning into an ashy gray. But it's green. Like I said, bless the good Lord. So anyway, thanks again for watching, you all. Stay out there having fun, shooting guns, staying safe, and I will see you in the next video.